It's pretty rare that I dedicate an entire video to just one single property that's listed for sale, but another spec home just hit the market by Ramtin Ray Nosrati, and I think you guys will agree this property is worthy of its own video. The home's located at 13187 Shallon Road, and don't worry, we'll get into all the specs and photos here in a bit, but just like all of Ramtin's other spec builds, this property is dialed in with every perk and amenity that you could ever imagine. If you guys have been following the channel a while, you know we had a pretty long stretch of time where these spec developers were getting burned on what seemed like every project they did. We had Niall Niami and his whole saga with the one. There was Bruce Makowski's $250 million mansion. Alex Khadavi's Sarbonne home was a story of its own. And then there was Mohammed Hadid's Strada Vecchia house that had to be demolished. Since that crazy flurry of activity though in LA, it's been relatively quiet in terms of new modern spec homes that are being built out there. I think a lot of these guys have just moved on with their lives to focus on other things. That's not the case for Ramtin though. He seems to be busier than ever, and he's cranking out these mega mansions faster than I can even keep up with. So there are currently 3 homes listed for sale by Ramtin and his team, and they all hit the market within the past just couple of months. There's 924 Linda Flora Drive. This is a 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom property sitting on an oversized lot with great city views. He's asking about $14 million for this home. Then we have 1033 Somera Road. This 12,000 square foot house hit the market in April. It's got all the bells and whistles, and he's asking almost $25 million for Somera. Then for the star of today's video, they nicknamed this property Allure. It's asking $29,888,000 bucks. You guys know that I'm constantly looking at these luxury listings, both here for the channel and also for my own real estate development business out here in Arizona. And out of all these homes that I look at, there's just something about this signature style of Ramtin's that really does it for me. These homes check all the boxes and, in my opinion, give everything that you'd ever want in a luxury house. So in this house, we have 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 14,000 square feet. It's got 10 garage spaces. The property's sitting on 1.31 acres, so it's a relatively big lot. In the listing description here, they say this property has a resort quality lifestyle, and they also say that the 1.3 acres is mostly flat usable land, which is a huge perk. A lot of these hillside lots, they might be sitting on 1 or 1.5 acres, but there's only like 10,000 square feet of usable land, and the rest of it is just sloped down on the hillside. They talk about the sports courts, which we're gonna see here in a second, the huge gated motor court, which provides parking for those 10 cars. The place has Miele appliances, it's got multiple bars. The primary suite is 3,000 square feet. That's literally bigger than my entire house. And then I'm sure we'll see photos of all this. It's got an office, a gym, a sauna, a mudroom, all of that. The front of the house has this really lush private courtyard, which I love. There's some water features, a ton of plants, and this is all actually behind a gate, so this isn't just viewable from the street. From this view, the backyard doesn't look massive, but look in the other direction, it definitely has some more space. It's got the pool and then the jacuzzi with the infinity edges around, the sunken fire pit down here with glass railings around it, very nice. And then over in this pocket is actually like a cabana, almost like you'd see at a resort. Okay, now we've got another view leading up to the entry. I love those 2 matching palm trees. Those things alone are probably like 15 or 20 grand a piece, I'm guessing. After you walk through that big pivot door, front door, there's this NASA looking statue here. Your first sitting area, the staircase would be to your right, and then the kitchen is over here around the corner to your left. And then this is just shifting the perspective. So this is what you see straight ahead when you're walking through the front door. You're looking out into the backyard and then looking up at those living moss walls. And speaking of those living moss walls, if you guys haven't seen my past videos, maybe this is new to you, these are actually apparently live plants. And from what I understand, there's no concerns here with like humidity or bugs or dust or anything like that. It's cool. Somehow these things just kind of like take care of themselves. Looking over this direction, this I would guess is the main living room. I really like the finish palette in the kitchen here with all of this marble and wood tones because it is modern, but it's also kind of cozy and comfortable too. Here around the corner is the dining room. You can see the kitchen over there in the back, and then over here to the left is actually a bar. Check it out. So the entire bar island is wrapped in this marble, which looks amazing. I guess it's not the most functional because you can't really pull up a bar stool to it, but man, it looks good. Temperature controlled wine room. I'm sure there's storage here for like at least 1,000 bottles. In one of his videos, I saw Ramtin was calling this a cinema / lounge room, and I think my favorite detail in this room is the ceiling. It's just like you'd see in a Rolls Royce. Here we have the powder room. I've never seen a vanity setup like this before. I mean, how epic is this? The stairway, of course, has a ton of natural light and this huge chandelier that's hanging down the center of it. Upstairs, you have that same like warm wood feel. He uses a lot of wood textures in his house. You guys can probably tell that on the ceilings, on the walls, on the floors. It really warms up these spaces. And now we are in the primary suite that's bigger than my house. So the bed here's on the right. The bathroom and closet is behind this doorway here. And then over in this section, look, you've actually got your own living room that's attached to the master suite. Looking into the bathroom, huge space. You've got his and her sinks on either side of the room. Big walk-in shower. This is all enclosed, so I'm assuming there's steam in that shower as well. And just look at these book match pieces of marble. We have it going on this wall, over the doorway here, and then behind the mirror as well. And check out that view from your tub. You're looking right out at the backyard. As expected, the master closet is like something you'd see off Rodeo Drive. Then here's a little office as well, which I wouldn't be surprised if this was connected to the master as well. All of the bedrooms have a ton of natural light, and it looks like every one of them has some view of their own, which is nice. There's a nice sized gym right off the pool. Then this is that cabana area we were looking at the beginning, so there's just curtains. This room doesn't completely close off. Then what's unique about this house is out back, instead of having those views that just go on forever, in a lot of these shots you'll see the backyard, you're actually just looking out at a bunch of lush landscaping and hillside, so it's very private in the backyard. You're not looking out at the views, but you do have views. I kind of like it. If the inside kitchen wasn't enough, there's a full-blown kitchen outdoors right by the pool as well, which has its own island, its own refrigerator, its own grill. It's got a little pizza oven, it looks like, decked out. Then here are those sports courts. In the front, we have a pickleball court, and then over here in the back is a basketball court with a Michael Jordan theme. Last but not least, it seems like this house just goes on forever, but on the very top of the house, you have this rooftop deck, which has another kitchen and seating area. There's multiple fire pits up here, and then tucked over here in the corner, there's a bunch of couches and a TV, so this could be a cool place to hang out after the sun goes down and you want to watch the game or something. Amazing. I think that what Ramtin gets right with these projects is that, for one, he has the right team in place. That's one thing, again, that I've learned in my business. All successful developers surround themselves with very talented designers, architects, engineers, contractors, and agents to successfully pull these things off. But another thing that he does really well, other than just having a great team or committee helping him to execute on these deals, is that he always prices these houses really reasonably. I mean, you guys saw how many amenities and things he's loading these homes up with. That just makes such a big difference compared to so many other spec developers who build just a big white box with no soul. It feels like maybe you're taking some additional risk if you load these houses up with a movie theater and multiple sports courts and a living moss wall and coffered ceilings and all of that. But when you're competing against tons of other luxury properties scattered all over Bel Air, Brentwood, and Beverly Hills, these extra details and amenities help you to really stand out. If you're like me, you're probably curious how much money someone like Ramtin is making when he builds projects like this, and to be honest, it's impossible to guess that for sure without knowing his construction cost and his loan costs, but we can do a guesstimate just for fun. For the Allure property that we're talking about today, he paid $3.5 million for this house in April of 2021, so he's been at this one for about 2.5 years. I'm gonna guess he has something like 16 or 17 million into the build itself. That's about $1,200 per square foot for the construction. He probably has a lot of his own cash into the deal, but I'll guess another $2 million, which is for holding costs on a construction loan plus property taxes and insurance. So that brings us to him roughly being $23 million into this deal in total. If Ramtin gets his asking price of $30 million, he will pay about $1.3 million in commissions and closing costs, then another $1.65 million for the mansion tax. Yes, that mansion tax is a huge hit for properties like this. So if we're talking a $30 million sale price, minus the $3 million in selling cost, minus the $23 million for the build and holding cost, Ramtin will be left with around a $4 million payday payday at the end of this thing. No doubt these projects come with a ton of work and a ton of stress, but not a bad payday for 2.5 years worth of work. Ramtin did some sneak peek walkthroughs of the Allure house on his Instagram stories. If you want to see those, just go to his Instagram page. It gives you a little bit of a better taste of what this house looks like compared to just flipping through the photos that we looked at together earlier. I know everybody has a different taste, so I'm really curious to hear what you guys all think about Ramtin's signature style. Do you guys like it as much as me, or do you prefer something else? Regardless about how you feel about the place or how I feel about the place, what matters the most is what the buyers feel about this house. So I'm really curious to see how this story unfolds and what the home ultimately sells for. I'll see you next time.